Hey you guys, I just wanted to share with you my story about the when I unblocked my root chakra, my Muladhara, doing the process that I learned from Mami Unami. So the block to the Muladhara is fear or guilt. So primarily fear, but in the West it's more based on guilt, just because of how culturally conditioned we are in organized religion and how infused that is into our culture, this conditioning that we're sinners, there's something inherently bad or wrong about us, and there's something that we're always having to seek externally in order to be able to repent or achieve retribution for just our inherent wrongness. But for me, I wanted to talk about the memory that came up for me and what I experienced when I unblocked this chakra. So for me, the memory that came up for me was when I was like maybe like 3 or 4, something like that. My older brother is 2 years older than me, and it was a memory of like when he molested me, like bits and pieces of what happened. But what really resonated for me was the afterward part of it, when like my mom and my stepdad were there and they like sat us down and were like asking us all these questions of like, what were we doing and why? And like, I didn't know, I didn't know why or what was happening. And nothing was explained to me either. So I just had this feeling of like, I did something wrong and I don't know what it was, or like, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I did a bad thing, but I never, like, it wasn't explained to me what was happening. And like, for me, I spent so much time with my brother growing up that like, and he was older than me. So like, yeah, we always did what he wanted to do. And like, he, he was very like, I always call him a terrorist because he like, we did whatever he wanted to do. Okay. Like otherwise he was like very abusive, I think more so than the normal dynamic, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's really where that started for me, was feeling guilty about something that wasn't really my fault, but feeling guilty about something that I also didn't fully understand. And I think that's why it's so important to just be honest with your kids and explain things to them. But I also just had this feeling, this I carried this with me my whole life. I was fucking scared of things that like something was going to come get me and that I was in trouble for something. Or it's like interesting how I can see now how that pattern has been repeated out over and over, and how I've consciously chosen and created experiences in my life that made me feel like I was in trouble, that made me get into trouble, going to jail. I've been to jail, like, I don't know, more than a handful of times, less than 10 times for, silly things, nothing hard, mostly drinking. But I had this feeling of like something's out to get me and something's chasing me. I often was in relationships with men because I was afraid that if I was alone, my brother was going to come kill me because he told me many times that he was going to come kill me. But I was too scared to be alone. And, 7 years ago, I got sober because I was in a relationship with a man for about 5 years. And when that ended, I couldn't handle being alone. Like I was fucked up all the time because I couldn't handle being alone. Like I couldn't handle the emotions of it. I couldn't handle being with myself and being present in life. I was constantly like, he was the glue that was holding me together. And when that was gone, I lost my shit totally, and ended up getting a DUI. And I've been sober since then, but that was really the thing for me where I was like, holy shit. But I constantly was like creating these things where I was going to get in big trouble. And I'm glad that that's gone now. Like instantly doing this process, like I felt so much better right away. And that's really why I wanted to go through this trauma school and be able to, take the training of unblocking my own chakras, but being able to offer this to other people, because just the weight that's released and the results I feel instantly, and then being able to see that reflected in my life now too, of like lifting that weight of like, that was never your fault. That's a fucked up thing that happened to you. It doesn't really have anything to do with you. but that's the thing about trauma, is it's really the story that we write about ourselves and continue to tell ourselves. And so I'm going to continue to share things about my life and my story and my experience here. Like, this is something that, like, I never talked about it. And like, everybody, I grew up in a small town. Everybody in my small town knew about it. Okay. Let me tell you that. And some people would try to say things to me in a well-meaning way about it. And some people said things in a not well-meaning way about it. And it was really difficult. But because I didn't confront it at all, I couldn't face that was something that had happened. I couldn't admit it. There were other abusive things that happened in my family, and I could always cop to that and talk about that. But being able to face that, somebody that I loved, somebody that I considered my best friend, violated my boundaries so directly in so many different ways and over a long period of time. The sexual abuse was a small part of that, but like physically and psychologically, there was a lot worse things that happened. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that and just let you know, like, if you're not alone, and this process works for basically anything, So I'm still available for one-on-one. I still have 2 spots available to take you through Chakra Chore, Uprooting Trauma Chore, and otherwise come join my free healing community. I do monthly healing circles once a month. Anyways, I love you so much. I'll see you around.